Straight from the trailer park to Nashville, Tennessee. We're having a good time here today. Dusty Slay, how in the hell are you doing?
All right, we are having a good time. I'm pumped to be here.
Dude, I am so happy that you're joining us here today. Dusty Slay is one of my favorite stand-up comedians rolling right now. Had the opportunity to see him at the Funny Bone here in Virginia Beach. I believe it was last June. I can't believe it's been that long. Dusty, this is ridiculous. You need to have at least 6, 7, 8 shows a year here in Hampton Roads. What's going on with that, bro?
I know I should. That I did that weekend right after I recorded this special, and the air conditioner was broke in the club, and I was sweating away, but I had a great time.
That, and I think the floor was giving out on you also. I was like, yeah, this floor right here, it just might go out while I'm up here doing my thing. I mean, it was, hey, the floor being jacked up, the air not working. Despite that, it was hilarious. So let me
I had a great time.
I think, hey, we all had a good time, right? You know what I'm talking about?
We had a good time, and I love the club, and I had a great time there. They were so nice to me at the club. I love coming to Virginia Beach. I hadn't been there in a long time, but it was exciting to be there.
Again, we're talking with Dusty Slay. Dusty Slay's Workin Man premieres Netflix January 16th, and make sure to stop by. Dusty, did I hear you right just now when you said that the filming of this was around the same time that you were here performing for us last year? Is that what you just said?
Yes, I filmed my special, and then the next week I was in Virginia Beach.
That is insane. I've always wondered about the logistics when it comes to filming a Netflix special. Now, the special itself, which again, Workin Man, Netflix, the 16th, was filmed at Knoxville's Bijou Theatre. Talk to us a little bit about the logistics for a comedian landing the Netflix 1 hour special, because when you get that, like, you have officially arrived. You've done the stand-ups a few years back, but what's it mean for you in your career to have your hour-long special land on Netflix?
Well, it means a lot. And the thing about it is things have changed, right? So at that time, when I'm in Virginia Beach, I knew I had just filmed my hour special, but I didn't know that it would end up on Netflix. I filmed this myself. I paid to have it filmed. And I said, I'm just going to take a chance. I said, I know the material's good. I said, I feel very good about it. I hired a great film crew, a great director, and I filmed this awesome 1 hour special that I'm very happy with. It's the best thing I've ever filmed, best thing I've ever recorded. And I think Netflix agreed. I can't put words into their mouth, but I imagine they said something like, this is one of the best specials we've ever seen. We need this on our platform. That's what I think. I don't know what went on in the meeting. That's how I imagine it went down.
No, I would have to agree. I would have to agree. That is how it went down. Hey, we can't let this guy, we can't pass this guy up. HBO is going to pick him up. Hulu, somebody. We better lock him down right now. Bo, get Dusty Slay on the phone, which I think is interesting. Dusty, talk to me a little bit about this. I always thought, and not that a lot of people would know anyways, but I've heard a lot of stand-up comedians talk about the fact that they have to pay to get this thing rolled. This isn't something like, hey, you're great, we want to give you a full hour, unless you're Chris Rock and they went live that one time, you know what I mean? But I mean, the logistics behind putting your own stand-up hour together is fascinating, because you financed this whole thing, correct?
I did, yeah. And, Netflix gave me money, so it was very nice. I was able to get my money back from what I put in. But yeah, I mean, at first it's like, yeah, you're taking a chance, and if Netflix doesn't want it, maybe somebody else does. But Netflix is the first choice for me. That's where you want to be. That is the platform for comedy specials, and anything else feels secondary. So it's like that's where I wanted to be. But if that wasn't it, there was a chance I would have ended up, just putting it on YouTube, which is not where you don't want it to end up there, but I would have done it because the world needs to see this hour special. And I do believe that. I say that in a joking way, but I do believe they need to see it, because if you can't make a live show, this is the closest it's going to get.
No doubt, no doubt. Dusty Slay's Workin Man premieres Netflix January 16th. Why'd you film it at Knoxville's Bijou Theatre, of all the places?
Well, whenever I do most of my comedy in the Southeast and the Midwest, And whenever I need to film something, usually I get sent to New York or LA to film. Like if I do a Tonight Show or a Comedy Central or Jimmy Kimmel, something like that, I end up in LA or New York City. And I love those places, but that's not where I do most of my comedy. So I wanted to film something in the South. I was like, Tennessee is where I live. But I do so much comedy in Nashville that I was like, I don't necessarily want to film in Nashville. I feel like people here have seen all these jokes. So I went to Knoxville, which is a city I really like, and they don't have a comedy club there. So I had not done a lot of comedy in Knoxville. So I thought, you know what? They've probably never seen these jokes. Let's take it there, and let's get a fresh take. And I sold out 2 shows at the Bijou Theatre. And the audiences were hot. They were into it, and it was just a great, fun night of comedy.
Again, talking with Dusty Slay, Workin Man premieres on Netflix on January 16th. Dusty, how long did it take you to write the material for the new special?
Well, it's hard to say, right? Because there are some jokes that I had put together in the last 6 months for this album or for this special. But there are also some jokes on here that I've been doing for years. There were some that I've been doing for years, and I pulled out because I was like, this works well here. I did this joke 10 years ago, but it works well here, and I've never really had it on a special before. So there are certain aspects of this special that I wrote long ago, and others were practically brand new. So, but, I spent the last couple of years really kind of honing it and pulling it together, and I feel so good. And there was even some last minute changes I made, but I feel so good about this special. I really can't wait for people to see it.
I've seen some of the pre-promotion roll out when you're sitting on that picnic table, inviting people to check it out. And one thing that you mentioned is that it's clean comedy for everybody. Is that important for you, or is that just something that just kind of happened and it's like, that's cool too?
No, I do like it because, sometimes people will say to me, like say an older parent who has kids that are 20 or 30 years old, and they'll say, thanks for making the kind of comedy that I can watch with my kids. Or I'll have, 20, 30-year-old people say, thanks for making the kind of comedy that I can watch with my parents. And it's like, I think that kind of stuff's important. I mean, I like, there's a lot of dirty comedy that I really like. But it's like, I want to make the kind of comedy that I consider relatively clean, where I'm like, it's not so clean that, you necessarily want your young kids watching it, but it is something you can enjoy with anybody in your family, where nobody's going to be offended. Nobody's going to be like, ooh, that's really gross. Turn that off. I want like adult comedy that's palatable for everybody.
And you can check it out. Again, Workin Man premieres January 16th on Netflix. Dusty Slay. Dusty, you're on tour right now. And could the success of this special potentially change that in terms of venue size? I mean, that's the hope, right? This thing's going to drop. You just kind of kicked off. I mean, you're going to be in Dayton, Ohio this weekend. You were in Spokane over the week. So hopefully that's the goal. Could that potentially, if the success of this Netflix special, blasts off the way that you hope it does, does that change anything?
Well, my manager says it's been translated into 35 different languages. So there's a chance that it could change a whole lot, and, but for me, I really just want, I've always said this from the very beginning. I just want to have the career where I'm selling out my shows. And that's what I want. I love doing comedy. I don't want more than comedy. I just want to continue the career. So you always have to be growing. You have to be selling tickets. And I do sell out a lot of my shows now. One of my shows in Dayton is already sold out, and the special has not dropped yet. But I got a theater tour coming up this year where, I'm going to do a mix of comedy clubs and theaters, and I'd like to sell out every show I'm doing. So I don't I'd like to still be able to go to the grocery store without being harassed, but I would like to sell out all my shows.
Nice, man. Well, I love what you do. I don't think you're going to have any issues, especially once everybody. If the world hasn't been introduced to Dusty Slay, Workin Man on Netflix will in fact do that. Dusty, what's the best way for people to kind of keep in contact and follow your journey throughout this crazy ride?
Well, I would say I'm most active on Instagram, and then Facebook, and then YouTube. I have a lot of stuff on YouTube. If you just go to @DustySlay at any of the social media things, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you can find me @DustySlay, or just a great hub for everything, DustySlay.com.
You still got your podcast?
Oh, yeah, I do. I do 2 podcasts. I do my personal podcast, which is the We're Having a Good Time podcast that I do with my wife, a great insight into my everyday life. And then I do the Nateland podcast with Nate Bargatze. And that's just a good old fun podcast.
Well, listen, Dusty, I mean, I want Nate, when he was on SNL, I'd love to see you on there. I mean, this could be it for you. I'd love to see you up there hosting the show one of these Saturday evenings. I think that'd be fantastic.
Hopefully one day. I think Nate really did open a door there. So hopefully one day I will be doing that.
I was kind of hoping he would name drop you at the end. You know what I mean? Like how they come out and thank everybody. And I was like, come on, baby. Just say, I want to thank Dusty for watching at the house right now. I was like, yeah, man, come on. What's that all about?
It's a real missed opportunity on his part. I don't know what he was thinking.
I love you, man. You're the best. Dusty Slay's Workin Man premieres January 16th. It was filmed at Knoxville's Bijou Theatre. And again, just keep an eye out for him to land somewhere. I had an opportunity to see him at the Funny Bone. I bought one of the trucker hats. I still wear it. And I'll tell you what, Dusty, every time I go out, it's a conversation starter, dude. So it's working. It really is.
All right. I love that.
And I was like, dude, it's solid. It really is. And I make sure to let everybody know that when I was there, we were having a good time. Dusty Slay, you're the man, dude. You're the man. Make sure to check out his special called Workin Man, January 16th, Netflix. Best of luck with everything, dude. I'll be watching. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.